Hello, friends. I've been wanting to get on here and share this story for a few weeks now. I had an experience that was a challenging experience as a muralist. I was working on a couple commissioned murals for an Airbnb here in Austin. So let me share what happened, and hopefully it's something that you can learn from too. If you are also an artist or a designer or somebody who works with investment properties, and you're wanting to have some mural work done in your establishment or in your Airbnb like this client did. So I would like to just go ahead and start sharing. So my name is Bree Hopkins. I've been a full-time artist for the past 8 years. I've done about 15 murals, maybe more, total over my career. I would still call myself a beginner muralist. I'm always learning. And so I got referred out. I attended some networking events and made some connections, and one of my connections referred me to a gig to do a mural for an Airbnb. And these clients have been absolutely wonderful to work with. They wanted me to work though over Christmas time because they were already kind of behind, and having murals, I guess, was kind of a last minute decision. So I was not available to do it during Christmas, so we scheduled it for the first week of January, and that was kind of pushing it. And doing art under a very tight schedule is always a challenge. So anyway, I said yes, and we scheduled it for the first week of January. When I quoted them, I made a proposition. I was like dead tired when I made it, and I had two price points, and this was my first mistake. I should not have had two price points. I should have just had one for a medium detail mural. My low detail is $10 a square foot. My medium is $20 a square foot, and high detail is $30 a square foot. And so I had put those two pricings there, the low detail and the medium detail, and the low detail requiring them to do a drop coat, which honestly, those two pricings don't make a difference in the quality of the mural. Everything that I'm going to make is going to be quality, and I know that about me. I'm a freaking perfectionist. I can't help it. So why did I cheat myself out of 50% of the price? I feel so stupid, because of course I chose the cheaper one. Anyway, that was my first mistake. And I actually did dig myself into a hole during this project, talked to the client about it. We were able to work something out that worked for both of us, and it got resolved, but still it would have been better to resolve it on the front end of things, because most clients are not going to be nice and work out a deal for you. Anyway, so come January 6th, and we get the biggest cold front in Texas for the season, and it's like 30 something degree weather outside, which I know if you're in the north it's not a big deal, but here it's a big deal. Okay. And this is day one that we need to do the mural. So it's the 6th of January. They need it to be done by the 10th because they're getting the property ready to be photographed by the 14th. So work. It is so freaking cold, man. I am wearing gloves, and if you're a painter, the water gets on your hands and stuff, and it's just so hard to stay warm if you're working and painting in cold weather. And so that part was also one of my lessons. If the weather is inhumane, that's a sign to take a step back and take a pause. Okay. So that was important, and I had to quote my client based off of the image that they gave me. When I looked at this image, man, I'm looking at this image. It has a watermark that says fenced inspo, which it makes sense. But there were so many different images that they sent me with the same watermark. And I'm looking at these images, and they look digital. They look like they're digitally done. There's some digital mistakes in them. And I'm like, oh, AI is amazing. I'm thinking AI created this. And so anyway, I am thinking this was my second big mistake, making an ass out of me and you, right? Assuming that this image I'm looking at is made by AI and not verifying it. So anyway, I quoted them based off of that because I usually charge $600 just as a design fee. It also works as a deposit. So if you go with me and your project is over $2,500, then I will waive that deposit. but I didn't charge them for the design fee because they came with an image already done. And so the designer gave them those images. I found out later, the designer gave them those images. They gave me those images. I gave them the quote. Then we did the work. So I think Anthony was available to help me, thank God, because it was so cold. And we finished it the January 6th and the 7th. And so we worked those 2 days, the entire day. I worked myself to the bone. I was in like excruciating pain by the end of the day from the cold bite, the numbness I had in my fingers and my toes. I'm not going to ever do that again. So within 3 weeks, both of us get an email from an artist claiming that we copied her artwork and that we need to take down and that the murals have to come down within 7 days or else she's going to take further action. I think both of us were just kind of like floored, like, what? And so I go to her website and, oh, there they are. The digital mock-ups that she had made for those clients that the designer took, copy, pasted into the design plan. Yeah. So definitely copyright infringement. I had never seen her work before, and I can just say this, and I'm embarrassed that I didn't see her work before because she's amazing, and she's actually kind of an Austin icon. And the main mural that I'm sure someone was like, hey, isn't this your work, is in front of Kendra Scott, like the big one downtown. And I'm floored. I just can't believe it. Between the designer and all the people who saw this project, nobody saw that this is the Kendra Scott mural? Come on, people. Anyway, it is my fault, though, in the end of the day, because I didn't do my due diligence. So, anyway, what I proposed, I had to drop everything, reschedule everything that week, and create a new design for my client, and I didn't charge them for my creation fee, which I normally would, right? And create 2 new designs for my client because it was 2 murals that were copied from her website. And go to the site, paint over the other murals, and then paint my design on there. So that's what happened a couple weeks ago. And it was just one of those moments where I was just really like learning some hard lessons, you know, hard, and they are good lessons. They are important lessons. I'm really glad that Tara Lee, that's the name of the artist, by the way, look her up. She's amazing. Tara Lee Johnston, she didn't want to, you know, press charges. She wanted it in writing that I was never going to copy her artwork again. And that's fair. So, and just think about how embarrassed I was too, as an artist trying to make a name for myself in the city, realizing that I had copied somebody else's artwork. Like, oh, it's like the worst thing that could happen. So it was just incredibly embarrassing. So, anyway, my lessons: always verify your artwork, back search that image, make sure that it's not tied to anybody else. Right now, from this experience, I'm going to require all of my clients to go with my design, to pay my design fee, to make sure, because it's extra due diligence I have to do, just to make sure that we're all good and that the artwork is mine and that I'm the one who's going to be, you know, then it will be mine. Another lesson that I learned was if the weather is inhumane, that's your sign from the universe, from the divine. Pause. Step back, look at this project. Does this project need, you know, more help? What is not, you know, maybe something's not quite right. Maybe there's nothing wrong with it, you know, but that's just an opportunity to evaluate and a little bit deeper. And don't work in inhumane conditions. The photographers can wait, the client can wait, no matter how much pressure they're putting on you, what kind of deadline they have on you. It's okay, they can wait. And this is actually not the first time that I've had this problem. So, but this was the most extreme with the weather situation. Yeah, it was way too cold. It was way too cold to paint outside. Yeah, also just to clarify artistic intentions, if somebody is wanting to use someone's trademark or logo, it's super important to reach out to that company to get permission from that. I'm actually in that process right now for 2 different places, for Austin FC and UT Longhorns. I'm planning on doing a couple works that are similar, using their they're fan based works, but there are still those legalities, and if I could get in trouble if I did something that was trademarked. So that's just like, you know, you have to be extra careful. You know, a lamp fixture, for example, if you're, you know, you're working on an investment property project, you have a lamp fixture. That lamp fixture is made in bulk for many different houses. Even if it's a really fancy one, it's still made in bulk. But a mural cannot be made in bulk. A mural is unique to that one place, and this might change in the future. Who knows? This could change in the future. But anyway, if a client is asking for something that is totally out of your wheelhouse and has nothing to do with your style whatsoever, I think that my client didn't look at my Instagram once throughout this whole process. I don't even think they were interested in my work. They just wanted me to copy what this other artist did. If, you know, in retrospect, I would, if I knew about this artist, which I would if I had done my due diligence and back checked the image on Google. That's, you know, always put in your image and then back check it, make sure it's not tied to someone's name. I would have told them to reach out to her and get a quote. You know, I have a feeling that she charges a lot more than I do. But she could definitely, they could get a quote from her. And then if they didn't like that quote, they could come back to me and get my design instead. So that's just something else. Well, y'all, thank you so much for watching this. I hope it was helpful to you. You know, the reason I wanted to share this is because if I can help somebody get out of this situation before it happens, that's the best. And hopefully it's something that you can learn from too. If you're also an artist or a designer or somebody who works with investment property.